zigzag. Don't let them zigzag if an alligator chases you. Get something in between you and an alligator. It's the best way to avoid an alligator. They run straight, they go in between a tree or something like that, and that really, really helps. And that's why we have these. These are really very simple. Once you guys come out, these they usually keep pushing some between you and an eye. That usually stops the alligator from keep coming out of you. And then if you still want to be aggressive and fight, the rest of it
Concerned people, non-profit agencies, populations, and governments are working together to ensure chimpanzees and other primates don't disappear from our planet. For several years, the non-profit SeaWorld and Busch Gardens Conservation Fund has supported projects and programs that protect, rescue, and rehabilitate chimpanzees and other wildlife that share their habitat. There are things you can do every day to help chimpanzees. Shopping for wood or paper products, who can choose sustainable products, harvested and moving grains that protect habitats, wildlife, and people. Support zoos and conservation organizations that are working to protect chimpanzees and other wildlife. You can also visit us online for more information about them and how you can help protect them. Together, we can make a world of difference. Deep within the humid forests of Africa, to the bamboo thickets and past the cooking waterfalls, lies Myombe Reserve. A safe haven for some of the most endangered animals in the world. What is it about the animals, chimpanzees and gorillas, that we find so fascinating? Is it the behavior that captivates us? So similar to ours in the...
No, it's a flash.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the sheep exhibit. I just got through feeding these guys here. In fact, we feed these guys many times in a day, and we've learned through setting these guys out in the wild that these guys are hoarders. And so it tells us how to feed them. In other words, don't ever put the food in a big pile of food, cut it up in smaller pieces, and scatter it around, and that way they can't be hoarders. So that's an advantage of studying these animals in the wild. I mentioned that because that World Wildlife Fund that Busch Gardens supports, that's some of the things that they support is behavioral studying of animals here. But you do know there's two different types of chimpanzees. This is the most common type that everybody's familiar with. They're known as the troglodytes here. And I'm sure you've heard of the pygmy chimp. They're about half the size of these guys. So, to give you an idea, if these guys would stand up, the male would be about 5 feet tall and he might weigh 150 pounds. And the females are a little bit shorter and a little bit smaller. I think they'll be about 110 pounds in that range there. Now they do eat meat in the wild. You've probably heard that they eat meat in the wild, but our guys, they don't. we've tried to feed them meat. We've tried to give them all kinds of things like steak, and hamburgers, and hot dogs, and chicken, and all that. But they just turn their nose up to it. They just sit there and would rather have the fruits and the vegetables. I guess because they've never been in the forests of Africa, that they never learned that they could eat meat, you know, so I guess that's a learned behavior here. Now, they get a variety of fruits and vegetables, you know, probably 50 different varieties in a month. But in any particular day, they're only going to get maybe 5 or 6. And the idea behind that is that when we give them their green beans, we want to make sure that they eat their green beans here. Now, there's another interesting thing. We train these guys to visit the veterinarian's office, but actually the veterinarian will come and visit them. And just like when we go to the doctor's office, you know, the doctor will ask us to do all kinds of crazy things, displaying different parts of their body so that he can do examinations on us. You know, things like taking our temperature, looking inside our mouth or throat. You know, maybe he wants to do a sonogram or put a stethoscope on us. We can do all these things, all these procedures with these guys. We give them a shot. We can even give them a shot if we need to. And sometimes they need antibiotics or vitamins. And so we do all this from training. Sometimes we train out here. We show everybody how we train. We train right here. There's little ports in front of the glass, and we will go ahead and reward our animals through those ports. And each chimpanzee has a particular spot that they know where they're supposed to sit, and that's where they are trained. So you can see that training does have advantage for these guys. This helps us take care of them. You know, they can live a longer life in the zoo because, you know, they don't have any stress here because they don't have to work for a living, and they get free health care. So yeah, how can you beat that here? But that's all part of the training. In Florida, that training is really, really good because we also train them to come inside and outside the house at any particular time. And we practice this, you know, on a weekly basis. We'll just ask them to come in the house, you know, just because in Florida, we have these thunderstorms that pop up almost instantly. And if we needed to bring them in out of the weather, we could ask them to do that, and they would come running inside here. So as you can see, that the training really is advantageous for these guys here, and they get so good with the training, you know, because we do ask them to show us their hands and feet, because they're bare feet. Occasionally they may get a cut or something, and that way we can treat it. You know, we ask them to show that, and we can treat the wound here. And, you know, they get so good at that training that sometimes when they go in the house, if they have a cut, you know what they do? They walk up to you and show it to you. You're welcome. Now, does that sound familiar, huh? Yes, it does. I know it does. But here's something interesting, too. I know your moms will like this, and that is because these guys, you never have to tell them to make their bed. They come inside in the evening every time it's time to go in, and they make their own bed by themselves every day.
Contact helps maintain good relationships among chimpanzees. Throughout the day, you will see chimpanzees socially greet each other, which serves many purposes, including sustaining friendships or calming nervous individuals.
oldest male is 29. Simpson, he's our big silverback. You probably saw him as you walked around here. To give you an idea, he weighs maybe about 400 pounds in that range here. He fluctuates a little bit here, up and down. But you know, there's 4 different varieties of gorillas, and there is mountain gorilla that'll